Hello, 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 welcome! It's the new year, it's 2020, we are in the future itself, can you believe it? Christ, I mean, who knew? Am I getting drop frames? That's about right. No big deal. Unfortunately my new internet isn't nearly as stable, but it's not too bad. The occasional frame drop should be expected, so just let me know what the quality is. Hopefully the YouTube VOD ends up pretty good. But yeah, everything's pretty much set up, so I'm going to switch to content mode in 1 second, and we should be good to go. So, yeah, welcome. As usual, you're listening to the calming tunes of Tekken 6 soundtrack. This is Never Ending, the continue music from arcade mode. So yeah, let's get this going. Let's see. Hey everyone. I know, new background. New background, yes, I am in a new place. Brand new place, my own place actually. Well, not my place, it's a shared flat, but this is my room, much bigger, much more spacious. And this is the first stream of the year. I just haven't had time. I've had a million things to deal with, so thanks for your patience. So shout out to the YouTube crowd. The YouTube crowd really does love these VODs. So yeah, and I was actually going to cover frame traps, but by request I am covering Okey, because a lot of people want to know all about that Okey. So without much further ado, I will get started. I'm just going to take a look. It seems like my bitrate is going strong. Let's dive into the business. Let me get the video capture going. There we go. Okay, so let's just get started. So, people want to know about Okey. Now, with Okey, and for those who aren't aware, I mean, fighting game buzzwords, we kind of throw them out just like willy-nilly, but the fact of the matter is that Okey, all you really need to know about that phrase is it really just means what to do an opponent's knockdown. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the actual definition of Okey nearby, but it's an accepted general fighting game term for when you knock someone down, what do you do next? So I've set the computer to do wake up low kick because this way I can show you better like how Okey works. Now, knockdown situations in Tekken are a little bit different to other fighting games in the sense that characters have multiple options getting up. Not while they're standing, because in some games, your opponent can be standing and then they can do like a wake up uppercut punch, or they can do a wake up special or something like that. In Tekken, you have actual get up options. So you can do a wake up low kick, a wake up mid kick, a spring kick, so many things, right? And as a result, establishing Okey or establishing moves on knockdown is a little bit trickier than, you know, say other types of fighting games. That said, you do have multiple options to deal with people's, well, basically knockdown and get your Okey started. With Lars in particular, it really does revolve around his usual stuff. It really does have a lot to do with just the usual thing Lars is good at, his spacing. And in general, Okey tools revolve around things that can start a counter hit or just start a combo, because with Lars you almost never have to worry about being too close to them. You can just be out of their range. The first thing is good old Den 2. So Den 2, as in dynamic entry 2, which is forward 3, 2. I don't know if people typically like seeing my inputs, but I'll put them on just so people know. Now, you can see all my mashing. Anyway, so 4-3-2 or 4-3 plus 4-2. I use 4-3 plus 4 because I've macroed it. So Den 2, Dynamic Entry 2, that's really the main Okey tool you want, because there's so many situations where Den 2 is going to be reliable. So, for example, let's say off of basic knockdown, like you're playing the game and you knock someone down with like a back 3-4. Now that knocks them far away, and depending on what situation you're in, your opponent might do something. So check this out. Say I do back 3-4, and you see how the frame data is on, right? Now, assuming for a moment that they just did wake up low kick, which a lot of people do, right? Notice in the frame data, it says I'm plus 19, right? Now, what that means is that plus 19, it means that I basically have 19 frames of advantage to do something before my opponent is able to recover and do something of their own. Does that make sense? Now, we don't want to get lost too much in the frame data. I feel like frame data is when it gets all nerdy and complicated and sometimes people switch off. But the best way to explain advantage is simply that with this advantage, you are able to create favorable situations for yourself. That's effectively the best way to describe what that means in context, right? So, put simply, If I knock them down like this, and you notice your opponent has a habit of doing like a wake-up low kick, the thing is, because I think my finger's too close to the button once it keeps doing standing 3. The thing is, if you do that, then you do Den 2 immediately. Do you see how I instantly hit my opponent? Right? Instantly hit them and counter hit them, right? So as an Okey tool, Den 2 works really well. Now, Den 2 is 17 frame startup, or 17 to 19. Right? What that means is that it takes a certain amount of time to get started. So if you do something like a back 3-4 where you are plus 19, if your opponent attempts to press something, they'll just get hit by that. Typically, you want Den 2 to be your main thing because it's very powerful, it's a mid-hitting counter-hit launcher, and it tracks a little bit. Not too much, but it tracks a little bit. So if starting from like a typical combo, let's just say, let's not do like a full combo, but let's do like a quick one. So like a forward back 2-1. Now, you see how I did silent entry 3-ender, or send 3-ender, which is the kick. Now, as I'm sure you saw, I am plus 29. That's a lot, which means that your opponent, if they attempt to press anything, they'll get hit by your Den 2. And I mean anything. That's very important. Check this out. So I do this basic combo, right? I end with send 3. I do Den 2. If you press anything, you're getting hit. Plain and simple. You press anything, you're getting hit by that, right? Similarly, let's do a different combo. Right? With the send 3 ender, you attempt to press something, you're getting hit. Let's change the wake up kick to something else. Let's try mid kick. You're probably thinking, is it just for low kick? Well, let's find out. You see how it's a counter hit that time. Oops. Forgetting my own combo paths. Right? You see how it knocked them backwards. It didn't get the full counter hit itself, but because wake up mid kick's a little bit slower, but you see how it knocked them away. If you time it a little bit better, if you delay it a tiny bit, you can still hit them and get the full counter hit. So basically, any wake up option that isn't, oops, that was not the right combo. What a weird combo. Any wake up option that isn't, say, like a roll or something, if your opponent tries to press something, Den 2's gonna hit them. So that's really the main thing you want to be doing off of most knockdowns, not all. Certain knockdowns aren't as potent as others. So for example, 4-2-4 doesn't quite give you as much, but it depends on your opponent's habit. So for example, if they do that, I believe off low kick, maybe not. Oh no, would you look at that? So off of 4-2-4, Den 2 seems to work just as well. You see what I mean? I wouldn't rely on it too much. I mean, frame data is not everything, but in some situations, depending on what you do, you can just catch your opponent unaware. So like that, for example, my opponent tried to press something and I hit them getting up. As for spring kick, so spring kick is the main recovery attack. Frame data isn't real. Yeah, it's a figment of our imagination. Hey, what's up, Holmesy UK? So Holmesy UK is in the chat right now. That's actually the person I played online not too long ago, actually. Frame data isn't real. It's pretty good. I mean, frames aren't everything, but frames are useful information, I would say. They don't mean everything, and certain characters, cough cough Lars, can sometimes ignore your frame data, but yeah, it matters a little bit. Anyway, so with spring kick, it's a little bit different because spring kick means that they can do that. Now, depending on your timing, you can float them. So if your opponent likes to spring kick, what ends up happening is if you do Den 2, you actually float them for a full combo. So I'm going to do back 3-4 knockdown, Den 2. They tried to spring kick and I knocked them up and then I get a combo. So if your opponent loves spring kicking a lot, then Den 2 is actually going to float them. Right? So they'll have to think twice about doing a spring kick. So look at it this way. If you do spring kick, at worst you get, you know, at worst you get a float combo. But if you do a wake-up kick, you're actually just going to eat a full combo, and that's not what you want. Do you see what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is that you are better just staying down. But the thing is, if you stay down, well, that's the thing. Now, you've seen this before. Oh, by the way, I think Holmesy UK in the chat said, frames are real until Leroy came along. Leroy, huh? Anyway, so, as I was saying, if you stay down, or try to get up backwards, well, let's just say that might not be the best thing for you. Oops, that was not the combo. And let me just knock down. So if you just try to hold back, then you'll just eat it standing up, which is not that bad. But the situation that I'm trying to start is if you try to roll, is it front roll or side roll? It's one of these. I think side roll left. Let's try side roll left. So side roll left. Aha. So if you try to side roll, this happens. Have you seen this before? I've probably done it to you before. Other Lars probably done it to you as well. So do you see what's happening here? He's trying to side roll and he can't get up. So that situation right there, the fact is, you're not supposed to do that to beat it. To get up, you have to either just hold back or just stay down. Right? You have to hold back or instantly stand up or press up. Because if you try to side roll, you'll just keep getting hit. Also, do not front roll that. But keep in mind that if your opponent doesn't know, they're going to get hit by that a billion times. And you will hit them with that repeatedly until they die. Trust me. It may seem kind of cheap, quote unquote, but it's one of those things that if your opponent doesn't know, just keep hitting them. Because literally, that's your Okey game right there. That hits grounded. If your opponent doesn't know, they're going to keep getting hit by that literally until they die. So, trust me. The way to deal with it, and I'll let you know in a secret here, is to quickly roll. So when you hit the ground, instantly press 2 or 3. So 2 is side roll away, 3 is side roll towards. So that's how you deal with that. But the problem is if you try to manually roll, you will keep getting hit. So I've just explained how it works for Lars and how it works for your opponent. That's just literally the thing. But whatever you do, do not try to roll this. And if your opponent doesn't know, they'll keep getting hit. And if your opponent doesn't respect the Okey, well, they're just going to get counter hit. Oh, did you see that? Oh, I see. So that's a situation where if they do that, the instant spring up, that changes things a little bit. In which case, I think you can. I think it's a little bit tricky. There you go. You have to time it. Yeah, so if your opponent likes to do that little quick recovery, you can time it and still get a float on them. The timing's a little bit different. There we go. Like that. Alright, do you see what I mean? So basically, Den 2 covers all of the options. No matter what your opponent does, it's a safe bet. And it's safe on block, literally. Right? So you can literally just keep doing it as a technique. Okay, so Holmesy in the chat said, I played against a Leroy today. His mood reached further than my future. Pepe hands. Feels bad, man. Yeah, I mean, the Leroy situation, for those of you who are unaware, those of you who haven't seen EVO Japan, those of you who sort of aren't keeping up with Tekken right now, currently the dominating character, unfortunately, is a new DLC character, Leroy. Leroy Smith was supposed to be kind of this really cool new hype addition. Unfortunately, he ended up being a menace, so much so that six out of the top 8 players in EVO Japan were using Leroy. So that was, what a mess. What a mess. So, with that in mind, you understand that this gives you everything. So let me turn off quick recovery. And let me just leave him to back quick roll, perhaps? Right. So yeah, same thing. At least you're safe. But if it's not set, assuming your opponent doesn't do that, and they try to do wake up low kick, or any kind of kick, you will hit them and get a combo. Now, assuming for a moment that your opponent doesn't do that, they kind of recognize that, oh, wait a minute, okay, I probably shouldn't be pressing a button. Let's say it's a longer set, or maybe it's a 2 out of 3 in a tournament. Your opponent realizes that, okay, I probably shouldn't press a button when I'm getting up against Lars. This is where the mix-ups start. Check this out. So, you knock him down, right? Your opponent's blocking your Den 2. Okay, fine. You can just keep him in check with that forever. You can. Unless they suddenly forget and start pressing buttons, you can just keep him in check. That said, if they don't press anything, you do still have room to do some mix-ups. Check this out. Oh, I forgot I checked the opponent to guard all. So the opponent would guard, but assuming they don't guard all, right, you are in perfect range to hit them with that. So that's another option. If your opponent immediately stands up, and assuming they don't expect you to go for it, and your opponent's been blocking that constantly, you can go for Den 4-3. So that is 4-3, 4-3, which is his hell sweep. If your opponent just gets up straight away and has been blocking the Den 2 the entire time, you can just go for that. Similarly, it works off of a combo starter. So let's say basic combo, Your opponent gets up, they're eating that, right? Easy, right? That's really good. That's a really solid option, because if your opponent is constantly just standing up completely, that's fine. Now, there are some other mix-ups. And keep in mind that, of course, because it is dynamic entry, you have every option under the sun. So you've got the Dentu, right? But let's just say you do that, right? You can also do 1+2, right? If you want to. Or you can do the throw. But the throw, you have to be a bit closer. For example, something like this. So let's say a combo. They stand up. Oh, I think, yeah, that's too far. So depending on the combo, I'm trying to think of a combo that leaves them close enough, but chances are they don't. But if they're close enough, you can go for the throw. But let's say you want to risk trying to get like a screw, so you do a Den 2 instead. Like that, right? I mean, given that's a high, so there's very rare scenarios where your opponent will get hit by something like that. And if they go for, let's say, mid kick, you're probably going to get hit. So I wouldn't really advise it. But it does work in some scenarios. So that's like a call out. You know what I mean? The problem with going for that instead of Den 2 is that Den 2 will give you either a safe option or a counter hit combo. Whereas if they do a low kick, well, it's not going to work, is it? You're just going to get hit by the low. So I don't really advise going for 1+2, because with 1+2, you're one, you get less overall damage. I mean, the combo you get from it is like that. So your standard combo is that 60 overall damage. That's really good, but the potential damage from the counter hit Den 2, in my opinion, is so much better than risking it and going for, you know, going for something else. Oh no, did I drop more frames? Well, that sucks. Inconsistent tonight. Woo! Well, I mean, that's whatever. That's no big deal. But still, the fact of the matter is that the risk of doing a Den 1+2, it's not really worth the drop, like the chance of getting hit. So I personally would just go for the Den 2. Like it covers so many options, but really the 1+2 is like a call out. Depends on your opponent's habits. If you know your opponent, because some people go for the same mix-up over and over and over, guaranteed without fail. So if you feel like you've really understood your opponent, you can call them out. But oops, even I'm messing it up already. But you see what I mean? Like, that's a situation where that isn't quite working. But if you believe you fully understand your opponent, you can do like a call out like that. It's up to you, like realistically. But you know, his dynamic entry mix-ups, they cover so many options, right? The Den 2, the Den 4-3, and the Den 1+2, these cover so many different options. And as long as you're doing the Sen 3-ender, the Silent G 3-ender, that's going to lead to all of your Okey options. So let's use a combo that is like a typical combo. So let's use one of my combos. So up forward 4 starter, Den 2, down 4-3, Den 2, back 1, Sen 3-ender. Right, look at that. So, and then I used Den 2, they pressed mid kick, so they got floated, right? Let's say they press low kick, which a lot of people will do. Same combo. Into Sen 3-ender. Right, they tried to press something, they got hit immediately. That Den 2 is so good, right? So that the potential damage you get from it is so high. So look at this. This could be a 2 combo situation. Back 1. Den 2. Right? Look at that. That's a lot of damage you're eating for making a mistake. So people don't respect your frames, they are going to pay for it, right? You've got other options too. It's not just Den 2. Den 2 is really like the thing you want to be using, like to really like force them to block, to establish that Okey pressure. But you do have like many options other than the sun. You can do something like a while running 3, for example. So that's an instant while running 3. Now it works really well against low get up kick. Against mid get up kick, you really have to make sure you time it right, because if you don't, you're just gonna get hit out of the air like that, basically. So you got to be really sure with your timing, because if you're not, you're just gonna get hit. So while running 3, it's okay, but as you just see, the timing might actually just screw you up. So because if they do mid get up kick, it's not gonna work. So if they do spring kick, it's gonna be the same thing. Like, you have to really be sure of your timing. Right. So that's good. That hit him out of it. Right, that hit me out of it. So, while running 3, it is an option. It's an option that exists. I can't say honestly that it's the option you want to go for. Unfortunately, you can get hit out of stuff. So I would treat that with a pinch of salt personally. It's definitely an option to do. Like, I'm not saying it's not a viable one. It most certainly is. But I personally would stick with Den 2. Den 2 consistently gives you what you need, whereas I feel other options like Wall Running 3 aren't as good. That said, there is another option that gives you a ton of good things that happen. You seem to be dropping quite a bit of frames. I really hope it's not affecting the stream too much, but these things happen. It's fine. First time streaming, gotta get used to my new setup. I mean, nothing's changed in terms of like my equipment. It's just that things are a little bit different, but it's no big deal. Okay, so assuming that and this also depends on the situation. Assuming once again you've understood roughly what your opponent's like and they do and what options they do. Now I will need walls at some point, but for the moment we can just keep our infinite Azure. So let's say you figured out kind of the way your opponent works. Right, let's say you do a back 3-4 knockdown. Right, look at that. Orbital. So his orbital, up forward 4, Storm Axle, is very powerful. The range on it is really good, which means if your opponent attempts to do something, you can just up forward 4 them, right? Similarly, works for low kick as well. Because Storm Axle, because his orbital goes over lows, it's the same thing. So if your opponent does that, and you sort of, you realize that, you know what? This person loves to do wake-up buttons. Just orbital them. Right? I did that too quickly. In fact, I was actually about to explain, ironically, that the idea is just wait. You can just whiff punish it. The fact that, and also, because Storm Axle is safe, honestly, regardless of what they do, you're fine. It's a good, safe option to do. Oops, except when you don't react, you just do it instantly. There you go. Like, literally, you can just look at it, wait for what they're going to do, and orbital them. Do you see what I mean? Or, you have other options too. You can do his other launchers. It's up to you. So, back 3-4. That was too far. That's forward back 2-1, of course. Forward back 2-1, I would be very cautious with that one. You have to be a little bit tight. There you go. You have to be a little bit tight. If you really believe you can get the timing with that one, it's good. But there is, of course, tried and tested up forward 3. That one's really good too. But both the forward back 2-1 and the up forward 3 are quite risky. You honestly don't need to do them. Like, you honestly don't. Unless you feel it within your bones that that's the whiff punish you want. You really can just go with orbital. Right? Just wait for it. Just the second you see it, the second you see the button they press, orbital them. Easy. Right? So that's another good option. Orbital covers a lot. As for spring kick, that depends on the spacing. Right? That one's a little bit harder because spring kick, a lot of the time, you'd have to bait it out. So that's not a punish. And most of the time, because of the nature of spring kick, it'll actually knock them down. So I would say with spring kick, you are better just waiting to block it, because spring kick is usually quite unsafe on whiff. Yeah, like that. So if it whiffs, so if they spring kick, you're actually just better off just waiting for them to stand up. You actually just get a punish. You see what I mean? Right? It's better almost to just wait for spring kick. So, but it's hard to be ready for all these options. They have low kick, they have mid kick, they have spring kick. They've got all kinds of stuff. So it's very difficult to be ready for every single option. But just being aware of what your options are as the Lars player are very useful. You see what I mean? Now, another option for Okey, which a little bit lesser used but still quite useful. Let's set him to do low kick. Is forward 1+2. Now, this one I would say isn't nearly as reliable as the other ones. It's good. It's certainly really good, but this one isn't nearly as reliable as the other ones. Right? It works as an effective whiff punish because it knocks down. And with the right timing, you could counter hit. But unfortunately, as you saw, it doesn't really have the best hit properties. So you really can't... You really have to call them out. You really have to hit them at the right time. And I think for low kick, it's a little bit difficult. So actually, let me do 4-2-4. There we go. So that one's a little trickier, I'd say. Right, as a call-out, that's really good. I think mid-kick is the same sort of thing. Right, so as Okey, that's really solid. If your opponent, once again, if your opponent loves doing the get-up kicks, that one's really decent. Because forward foot 1+2, it's minus 11 on block, which is like jab punishable. So not too punishable, but it's not. It really is situational. Once again, Den 2, so good, safe, leads to everything. Up forward 4, another really good option. But if you feel it within your soul that you can definitely call out what they're gonna do, you can definitely get a counter hit setup like that and get your combo afterwards. And that's a really good option if you know that your opponent is the sort of person to do that. But your timing is very relevant, especially if they go for low kick. For low kick, it's much harder to set up the timing, especially if it's like after a back 3-4. And also, I think as well, for messed up the combo, for Sen 3, it works pretty well as well. Because Sen, I mean, in fairness, Sen 3 Ender is plus 19, right? Plus 19? Plus 19, yeah. And forward for 1+2 is 16, 17, right? So that works really well. So if your opponent loves doing their get-up kicks, right, you either knock them away, right, or you get a combo. Oops, why'd that drop? Give me the combo. There we go. Right, like that. So forward 1+2, that's a counter hit setup. Now the overall damage isn't as potent. As you just saw, the highest damage I was getting was what, 64? I mean, I'm sure that some people from the Lars Discord will probably tell me there's a better combo you can get off of it. Probably involving 2 jabs. I feel like I hear Sitox in the distance telling me about the max damage combo off of forward 2 counter hit. Forward 1+2. Oh, don't do that, please. There we go. I'm actually trying to get the counter hit combo. I'm just getting like a knockdown. It's weird. There we go. Forward 1, 2, 3. Right, 64. So that's good. That's really good, right? That is really decent. But at the same time, it's like, right? Look at the damage you're gonna get off that. Like. And honestly, it's just a safer, better option. Like I don't really. I feel like it's no contest, almost. You know what I mean? I feel like it's no contest. You are getting a much better option. Personally, I believe you're getting a much better option. Excuse me. Off of just doing that instead. So personally, I would honestly just go for the Den 2. The Den 2 really does everything. It really fulfills just all of the roles. Honestly, like I don't think there's any reason not to go for that. Ooh, Stat Blazer, thanks for the follow. Thank you so much. Follow. Welcome to the Up 4-3 squad. The Up 4-3. The legend of Up 4-3 continues. Thank you so much. So, personally, you've got multiple options. Personally, the Den 2 does everything. Covers everything. But it really depends on your style. You can, if you want to, but I think that's the reason I don't like the forward 4-2. It's hard to get it off the back 3-4. And back 3-4 is typically the move that you're going to be using a lot of the time, so I personally find it not super useful when you've got an option that covers all bases, where something like a forward 1+2, really, it depends on the situation. Now, let us add walls to the mix, because the walls are going to give us a lot more options. To training stage, that is not training stage. I messed up. Hold on. I wasn't paying attention. I misclicked. It's fine. This is fine. Hold on. This is fine. Nothing to worry about. Hey, y'all want to see my wall-to-wall combos on this stage? Hold up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. I'm just joshing with you. Just kidding. Hold on. Anyway, stage select. Let's do it right this time. Let's do it right this time. Yeah, that's how that happened. I accidentally went from geometric plane to forbidden place. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to show you the wall. So I've shown this in my very first legendary Lars Lab livestream. The first Lars Lab livestream was so much fun. So you've probably seen it in that one, but I'll show you here too. It works pretty much the same way. Oh man. I think part of the reason I keep getting frame drops is because I keep disconnecting from chat. I wonder why that is. It's very strange. I feel like something weird and wacky is going on. I wonder what it is. Who knows? Only the stream knows, I guess. Hopefully it's not interrupting the stream too much, but I'll need to figure out what it is, because obviously drop frames are good for no one, and they ruin dreams, and they ruin memes as well. So hopefully we figure out what's causing all this nonsense. But I'll check the VOD later and see. Hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, so let me... I mean, I've shown you this before, but this works the same way. And it's Okey insofar as what to do after knockdown. Now, after the walls, I've shown this a billion times, so apologies to anyone who already knows this. But at the wall, it's actually really good, because at the wall, you don't need to worry about any of that. Because let's say it's a knockdown, let's say you did a combo, or you pushed them to the wall, or whatever the case might be. You're at the wall, you get a knockdown. Check this out. Back 3-4, down forward 1, down back 2-1, forward 1+4, right? You do your standard wall combo. I've explained this a billion times, so sorry if you've heard it before, but that's literally the option. Like, literally, at the wall, you get the knockdown, back 3-4. And keep in mind, this covers both mid and low get-up kick. Let me start him at the wall. It's probably going to make this easier. This covers both mid and low get-up kick. Right? Look at that. Mr. Fantastic Legs. You can literally stay out of their range and just hit them. And if you're... And trust me, this may look ridiculous, but I've been in situations where opponents couldn't fathom that I was hitting them from that far away, so they just kept doing it. Like, they just kept doing the get-up kicks because they couldn't understand I kept doing it. The one stipulation is the low tap kick. This one's a little bit more annoying, because it's harder to backdash away and set up the whiff punish for that. A lot of the time, you might be stuck. For example, if it's a combo. So you see how it's a little bit harder to get away from the range of it. But if you do, same thing. Back 3-4. Yeah, but it's okay. You see how after that combo, it was harder for me to backdash because I don't have as much advantage? In that case, as long as your timing's really good, you can actually orbital them. Oops, not in that situation, jeez. So if you... Oops, that was too fast. Obviously the damage isn't as good as if you get it back 3-4, but if your opponent is the kind of person who after your combo they love to do the low kick, like the recovery kick, honestly just orbital call them out. Except when it puts you in the corner. Thanks, Harada. There you go. I think that's because I did up forward 4. You really can't just do up 4. There you go. So I did up forward 4. You can't just do up 4 instead. There you go. So if your opponent loves to do that instead, hit him with the orbital. Right, nice and easy. Get the combo. There you go. Oh, I see a message in chat. Oh, how did I miss that? Man, my chat client on PC is messing up. Okay, so StatBlazer in chat said, been playing Lars since Tekken 6. He's fun. At the wall, sometimes I use down forward 1 into Arc Blast. You'd be +2. So if they press any kick, can counter back 1. True. That's very true. Frame advantage wise, because you're +5 off of that, you can get a counter hit set up. So it's a little bit tricky to simulate this with the PC, but let's just assume for a moment that your opponent's pressing a button. Yeah, because at the wall, I mean, in general, back 1 at the wall is really good, because back 1 at the wall splats. So if you're good with your frame advantage, let's say you do a down forward 1, back 1, yep, if they press a button, you will get a wall splat. I wish I saw that in my actual chat window on PC. I don't know what's going on with my chat. It keeps like disconnecting from chat for some weird reason. I hope I'm not missing any messages. Anyway, thank you, StatBlazer. Thanks for that. You're right, back 1 at the wall is really good. So you do have multiple options. I think on knockdown, back 1's not so great, unfortunately. Oh, that was counter hit, so let me turn that off. Back 1, sort of on its own, isn't so good. In general, you do want to do your back 3-4 because that actually just knocks them into the wall. But if you, I mean, keep in mind, another option is, let me do, hold on, is forward 1+2. But keep in mind that, like, this one, I wouldn't go for it for a multitude of reasons. If your opponent just blocks, what's actually going to end up happening is, because you're so close to the wall, Forward 1 plus 2 is minus 11, and you can get jab punish. So I personally wouldn't do that. It's a similar thing with like dynamic entry 2, where the back 3-4 option is just so good that there's no reason to use anything else. Like 70 damage, really powerful. It's like the wall combo is down forward 1 then arc blast. The wall combo is down forward 1 then arc blast. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Down forward 1 into arc blast. Interesting. Let me see. I see what you mean. Yeah, you're +3. Okay, so it's like a reset situation. Alright. Theory fighting. Aha! Big brain. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. So what we just did there is, in this wall combo, instead of ending with the normal ender, which is down back 2-1 shoulder, right? That's the damage ender. You're -8, which means your turn is effectively over, right? That's the damage ender, right? Now let me set them to do wake up low kick. Most people in the corner are going to do wake up low kick. Most people. Right? That's the one you want to be looking out for. Right, so oops, didn't backdash far enough. There you go, that's the one you're going to be looking out for. But what StatBlazer in the chat just said is that if you do Arc Blast as an ender, you're giving up damage for potential damage. Check this out. Arc Blast, back 1. Right? Good stuff. So in this situation, what you're doing is you're setting them up to get hit by the back 1. Let's just say that you should have figured out that maybe your combo is not going to kill. Let's just say that you, I don't know, did something like that, and you think maybe they have something like 40% health left, and you feel like not 40%, because 70 damage would kill. Let's say they've got like 50%. Let's say they've got half health at the wall, and you think this isn't going to kill them. Let me do that instead. Most people will think, why did he do Arc Blast? You know what I mean? They'll think it's like it's a button error, right? They think, oh you misclicked, right? Because most people, they're looking for the shoulder ender, right? And then they're going to try and do their wake up low kick and try and get a combo. So a lot of people would think, why did he do that? The fact of the matter is that you're actually setting them up. Because with that ender, you're going to have a lot more advantage. Right? That's some good stuff. Thanks for the tech. Yo, is that diabetic bread in the chat? Lars, listen, you know it. It's the Lars lab, homie. Like, he came to the... Anyway, what's up? Yeah, so Diabetic Bread, a really cool player. I see him at East London Fighters. Julia player, also picked up Ganryu recently. Works a lot online. Yeah, that's definitely a good online strat, for sure. Because, I mean, a lot of what Lars is good at is dealing with people's stupid habits. Because people are just like, oh, I'm going to press all the buttons. So this is actually really good, actually. I really like this one. But the only thing is, it really depends on your opponent's habits. I wonder, does it work against recovery kick? I feel like it does, because you're +3, so it definitely should. So, aha! Look at that. But in lieu of being +3, you actually get a lot of options from that. But I think I exposed the flaw in it already. If they try to do spring kick, you don't get the combo, they just get wall splat instead. So, I like that. But in fairness, the spring kick, I didn't really explain yet what to do about that in the corner. Just get a combo. That's all you gotta do. Like, that's literally, if they do spring kick, just wait, get a combo. Or get hit by it. I would say that you want to be fishing for back 2-1 though. There you go. Also, I typically use the Den 1 to push him back into the corner, because usually spring kick, as you just saw, it actually pushes you away from the wall. So you actually want to do back 2-1, Den 1, down back 2-1, forward 1+4. Because typically it pushes you away. You can get it down forward 1, I think. It's a little bit tricky though. Let me see. You probably have to do dash down forward 1, which is not exactly the end of the world though. Yeah, dash down forward 1. So, I mean, either dash down forward 1 or Den 1. It's up to you. You have to delay on the spring kick. Alright, let's test that out. So, Arc Blast. How much delay, though? Let's see. maybe wait a little bit longer? How much delay are you talking? Because I feel like I'm just not getting the wall splat. Oop, that was down forward one. I don't know. I know I get what I see what you're getting at, but I'm not sure how much delay you'd need. Oops, that was not the combo. Down forward one. I kind of see what you're getting at, but I think that's decent. That's decent, but I can't seem to get the timing. Although I know what you mean. Also, for funsies, there is another option. Oh, for back four. Oh, yeah, back four. Well, I guess we haven't really covered back four. Back four is an option, though I find that back four tends to be a little bit finicky. What the heck? Oh yeah, no, for spring kick. I forgot I changed it to thing. I see what you mean. So you wanted to prop them into the corner and not get hit by it, of course. Okay, let me do it a few more times and move on because I don't want to bore the chat. I see what you mean. So the back forward like prop them up. I feel like that's like a bait. So let me do this. So the other one for funsies, the one and thank you Satox for this cheesy nonsense, is this. I messed up the timing, but nope, you saw what I tried to do. You saw it. You saw it. The ultimate BM. The ultimate BM. Guaranteed to make your opponent's Masku, and if I get it, the timing correctly, I feel like I have to wait a second. Is to do avalanche flip. The timing's a little bit tricky though. It's better for mid get up kick, but it's a little bit harder for low. And don't jump over him. That's not the setup. I mean, that might be the setup. What? How? What's the timing for that? Man, that's really hard. Let me try it for mid. Mid's a little bit easier. It's a little bit hard though. I swear this is a real thing. I didn't make this up. I promise you this is real. This is real. I promise. For mid, no? Or is it just... Oh, actually, no. Let me forget that. Let me just do a normal knockdown. Let me not do... There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Jesus Christ. There you go. So that's the ultimate BM. If you are that big brain, right? And you get the timing perfect, you can do this little doohickey, this little number. Yeah, that. You can do that to them, which I mean, that's listen, damage-wise, execution-wise, it's not worth it. Like at all. It really is just the ultimate BM. There's no reason to do it beyond just I'm feeling myself that much. And if they do low kick, it will mess up your timing. It's actually much harder, as I'm sure you can see. It's doable, but it's a little bit harder. Let's see, hold up. Yeah, it's a little bit harder. But anyway, so you can do that and they can still tech. Yeah, exactly. So that's not necessarily the ender you want. That's like, hey, I'm trying to BM. You know what I mean? Like that's not really the option. But I do very much like the thing that I was just told. This whole arc blast thing. Little back one setup. What the heck? Why didn't that work? Why am I not getting the... What the... There we go. But that'll prompt a rage quit from the opponent. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the BM tech. That's like... That has nothing to do with being a good player. That has everything to do with being a bitch. Like, that's just to get them to rage quit. So, hey, sometimes a rage quit's worth it. Sometimes you just want to... Sometimes you want to plant a line in the sand. You know what I'm saying? So that be the option. So, as I mentioned before, that you can do that as an option. Let me pull us back to mid-screen just so I can show you. So let me do like a typical sequence. Let's do a back 3-4. Right? And mess up the combo. Wow. Back 3-4. I read their move. I didn't punish it. Back 3-4. Read their move. Up forward 4. Right? I get a combo. You see what I mean? So that in that scenario, that is a... I suspected they were going to do a get-up kick, therefore I read it and I got my low kick. I got my my orbital, right? They do wake up low kick, same thing. I called out their get up kick, I get a combo. You see what I mean? I called out their low kick again, I get a combo. Trust me, that little sequence right there can kill people. Let's say they're 80%, right? 2 combo death, right? Literally, that is you knock them down. Let's say, actually no, that's like, yeah, 2 combo death. It's like literally back 3-4. They press the button getting up. You launch to the wall, you get a combo. Back up. They're dead. Like literally, that sequence right there is you whiff punish them to knock them down. They press low get up kick. You orbital them. You put them into the wall. They press low get up kick again. You killed them. Right? That right there. That's a sequence. That's literally 2 mistakes. That's really good. That's really good to know. Right? Similarly, let's say I use my Den 2 instead. Right? It's the same thing. And I get my combo. The wall is in a weird position. It's a little bit far. But like you get the idea. That's the same kind of way it works. Now let's try the same thing with a forward 1+2. Which I'm not a fan of off of back 3-4 because of the timing. But it is doable. But I feel like this move gets easily beaten by low get up kick like that. I hate it. Oh, it's much better after Send 3. It's not really good after back 3-4. It's better after 4-2-4 also. 4-2-4. There we go. Where's the wall? Oh, the wall's already there. Okay, let me back up a little bit. That's got a lot of good wall carries, so it's not actually that great for using it too close to the wall. There we go. Nice-oo. We get the wall, right? Solid stuff. Solid stuff. In that situation, I hit them with something like a 4-2-4, which I think that's really good. After back 3-4, I don't like it because of the distance and the chances you're actually just going to whiff. You kind of have to like set it up a little bit better. You have to kind of like dash forward a little bit and then do it. But that's only if you really suspect they're going to do it. And as I mentioned before, if they're going to do spring kick, the chance of you hitting it is very slim. You're actually just going to get hit like that or just knock them down. So I don't personally like that. I personally like Den 2 because Den 2 will float them instead. And you get a combo. Do you see what I mean? Like, the idea is to give yourself as many opportunities to get a combo as possible. That, to me, is more important than whatever, like, sort of situation you're looking for. It, of course, does depend on the character, and there are certain characters, as I'm about to show you, that defy that rule. But as I'm sure people in my previous streams have seen, trust me when I say that they get it much worse. So let's, well, Eddie's kind of similar, but let's do a king. Now, you're probably wondering, what about people with special get-up kicks? As I said, they get it much worse. Like, much, much worse. Especially if you're ready for what they're going to do. Check this out. So, for their spring attack, they have the special one. Now, people have probably seen this before if they've seen my combo videos, if they've seen some of my previous live streams. But this special get-up is much faster than the other ones. And usually, if you try to do anything, you're just gonna get hit. Because see how fast that is. It's gonna knock you down. This is the kind of the get-up kick kind of ruins all of your setups actually. So, right, you can Den 2 it and get the float, which is really good. So do you see what I mean about Den 2 still covering your options? So as fast as that is, you are at so much advantage they can't do that. You see what I mean? So for as fast as that is, Den 2 will still beat it. That's why I say Den 2 is better. If you try to do a forward 1+2, it's not going to work. If you try to read it with an orbital, you probably just get hit. But that said, if your opponent is like a king, an armor king, or an Eddie, they're going to get it much, much worse because of the following. Observe. And I've shown this before in previous streams, so let me back up. Let's say I knock them down, and they do this. Now, what you just saw right there is I punish with a back 4. Now, back 4 is +8, right? +8 frames. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to set up the following scenario. What's going to happen is 2 things. You're then going to hit them with a very damaging combo in the form of forward back 2-1 that's going to float them. People have probably seen this before, but if you haven't seen this before, it's going to blow your mind a little bit. Check this out. I knock them down. And that floats them back over and gives you a normal combo. You do forward back 2-1 into Den 2, it's going to flip them over and give you a normal combo. Check this out. Right? to give you like a standard sequence. So I knock him down. Right. Too far, but you get the idea. I'm trying to think of the optimal combo for this range. Something like this, hopefully. 4 back to 1. Then 2. I'm too close. Nope. But you get the idea. And look at the wall carry on that. That was really good. That was really good. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens for special spring kicks. It's much worse. If your opponent is the sort of player to do that, and they're face up, you actually will ruin them. Right? Like so. Ouch. Freaking ouch. That's 96. Add, of course, the 23 damage, right? The 23 damage from that. Let's do some quick maths. Now I'm kidding. That's basically over 100 damage. If your opponent is a king, like a king, an armor king, or an Eddie, and they love doing that, trust me, you think they're gonna rage quit already. If they try to get up stupid, right, you're gonna ruin their day. Because you get a full launch on them. Now, let's try at the wall. The wall is a little bit weird and also depends on the spacing. But let's assume for the moment that you are right next to the wall. It's pretty much the same thing, the same sequence, because it works just as well. Because the problem is, if you knock them down, right, if you just knock them down, you don't get a full combo. So your normal whiff punish isn't actually as useful because they're back turned. Like, you don't get a real combo, they'll just fall out. So that's not what you want. Instead, you do the same thing because it's still very powerful, actually. So check this out. Back 4, forward back 2, 1. Right? And actually, I would probably just do forward back 2, 1 shoulder. That probably is the right thing. Because there's actually a scenario I'm trying to show. It's a little bit harder to show with the CPU. So let me knock him down. Back 4. That's not the combo. Man. Hold up. Right? And then shoulder at the end. Right? That's typically what you want. What is a bit tricky to show with the CPU because there's no way to simulate them pressing a button, unfortunately. Because if I could, I'd show you something. So, the best way to describe it is this. I wish I had someone else here with a controller. I could really show it. What ends up happening is when they do the get-up kick, right, and you do the back 4, right, what actually happens is if they don't press anything, because you're +8, you still get the forward back 2, 1, right, because you're +8, and it's going to hit them. The best scenario, actually, and this is like the best possible scenario, the best possible scenario is one where they try to press a button. Because here's what happens. If they try to press a button while you've hit them with the back 4 when they're back turned, when you hit them with the forward back 2, 1, you're going to counter hit them because you're +8. Forward back 2, 1 is 14 frames. If they try to press a button after getting hit by the back 4 in their back, they're going to turn around completely to be fully facing you and get counter hit instead. So in this situation where they're at the wall and they press a button, right, and you forward back 2, 1 them, they'll be straightforward and you can get a normal combo. Similarly, if you're not at the wall, it works the exact same way. Check this out. And I really wish there was a way to simulate it with the CPU, but unfortunately there's no way to like make them press a button after doing their get up, unfortunately. So obviously that hit them in their back and I can float them, like, you know, I can turn them over like a pancake. But if my opponent presses a button, like they try to press like a jab, because most people, after you hit them in the back, they'll try to mash a jab at you. But if they mash a jab, the forward back 2, 1's going to counter hit them and you get to do even more damage. Now, I wish there was a way to simulate that with the PC, but unfortunately there's no way to make the PC, unless I make them do Mimic, perhaps? Maybe Mimic will do it. Oh no. How do I make them not get knocked down? Because I want to mimic them, but I want to knock them down. No, so Mimic doesn't make them press a button. Because I'm trying to figure out a way to make them press a button so that way they will... maybe someone in the chat can tell me a way to make the CPU king press a button while I'm doing that, because that's really gonna accentuate my point about how to do it. But hopefully I can kind of show that in some other way. But the fact of the matter is, whether or not they press a button, turn around, get counter hit, or they don't and they just eat the combo, either way, for special get up, you're still doing a ton of damage. So it's actually really, really good in that sense. Now, based on what that person in the chat told us, I wonder how that works in the corner. Let us test it for science and great justice. So, Arc Blast. Oh, I don't think that setup works on them. Due to the nature of their spring kick being so fast, I feel like you don't get it. Yeah, you'll just splat them. So unfortunately, that doesn't work as well. But you still get something. Best case scenario is, like I said, they press a button and you actually just ruin their day. I wonder if you can do the tag 2 ender. Let's actually give it a try. Tag 2 ender incoming. Back 4, forward back 2, 1. Nope. Unfortunately, tag 2 ender does not give us the desired effect. Most unfortunate, but that is still a reality. But you get the idea. You get the idea. So now that we've answered that question, we're now roughly an hour into the stream. There is one thing I want to show you all. I think I'd like to call it here, but usually this is the point in the stream when I open up for any questions, any ideas and such. But it's a bit of obviously my first stream is kind of briefly announced, so I didn't really give people enough time to come in. But the one thing I will end this stream with, it's satisfying baiting that type of spring kick. Hell yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. As I just showed with that combo I did, trust me. Like, speaking of rage quits, like the amount of kings that rage quit on me when I destroyed them with that combo because they do their special get up to me is pretty good. Because trust me, they're not expecting to just watch their life melt, and they're not expecting to get hit by this wacky combo. So when they see it, they're like, what? Like, do you see what I mean? Like, they can't believe it, basically. So it actually works against other characters who are back turn. I mean, in general, it's a very, very powerful back turn thing. So what I want to do now is, so if you have any questions in the chat or anything you want to know or find out about, now's the time, because now that I've done sort of the main portion of the stream, this is the point where I just open up to questions, things you want to see, things you want to discuss. But at the moment, right this second, I want to show you something. So I finally decided to learn the quote-unquote max damage for Lars. The max damage for Lars is, in Season 3 that is not only powerful just for its flat damage, its damage on its own, but also incredibly powerful for its wall carry potential. Its major weakness being it is situational and very dependent on both the axis you hit them, the axis they're being floated, the character size, and your distance from the wall. So for as powerful as it is, it's not the kind of combo you can actually do all the time. Not because you can't execute it, because you can execute it, but because unfortunately, the chance of it hitting, even if you're good at doing it, is actually very slim. With that said, let me actually show you the combo. So the combo typically starts from a launcher. Let us do an up forward 4 launcher. And it's going to take me a few tries to get it. But and this is the point in the stream where I say, thanks for watching. The main portion of the stream where I was talking about Okey is basically over. If you want to stay and check this stuff out, you're welcome to, but the main portion's over. Now I'm sort of doing extra stuff, so for anyone who's interested. So the max damage would be something like this. So up forward 4, then 2, down forward 3, then 2, jab, dash, down forward 2. Whoa, I messed it up. Also, I dropped the combo. What the heck? I actually dropped the combo much earlier. I wasn't paying attention. Unfortunately, with this combo, I have to always backdash to the wall, because otherwise it's not going to work. Dropped already. So the first difficult part of this combo is you got to do a jab, micro dash, down 4-2-1. That's the first hard part of this combo. Oh boy. Okay, so I nearly did the full thing, but it went wrong because I was actually a tiny bit too far and the wall didn't hit quite right. But I think you saw what it was. So let me explain. For his max damage to work, you're utilizing everything that makes his Season 3 kit so strong. The buff to Dynamic Entry 2, from 17 damage to 19 damage. Wait, 19 damage? Am I an idiot? 19 damage, right? That's first of all. So you're hitting them with that. Also, the fact that you can do, in combos now, you can do Den 1 into back 3. That's another really powerful thing. So that combo, get your notes ready, is launcher. So let's, for the sake of argument, say, did I just drop frames? Ouch. Rough. I really got to figure out what's going on with this network. But anyway. So the combo, for those who are paying attention, is up forward 4, or like, well, for the sake of argument, let's say up forward 4. It could be any starter, but up forward 4, then forward 3, 2, dynamic entry 2, down forward 3, down, so down forward 3, down, like that, down forward 3, down, which is the transition, into Den 2, so down forward 3, down 2. Then jab, you can either do 2 for the damage, or 1, which is easier. 1 recovers faster, makes it easier. 2 is going to give you the overall damage, right? And then you got to do micro dash, and this is a little bit tricky and difficult for sort of new players. You got to do jab, micro dash, down forward 2, 1. That's actually kind of difficult if you don't get the timing, so that's going to take some practice. Down forward 2, 1. Then after the screw, they're really far away. This is another hard part. You have to do while running, not single input, not double input, triple input. You got to do while running Den 2. Now let me just make the CPU stand so I can show it. So normal, not Den 2, Den 1. Normal Den 1 is just this, forward 3, 1, right? That's forward 3, 1. That's normal Den 1. Forward 3, 1. That's Den 1. While running Den 1 is this. You have to do forward, 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 as in forward 3 times into forward 3. So the way it works is, and just this is a bit of an explanation, is that out of running, right, you get running 3, right? Out of running, you get running 3. And this happens all the time. So if you press 3 at any point while you're running, or you do triple, as in triple forward 3, you get that. That said, because of the way the game reads input, if you do forward 3 plus 4, right, it counts as doing dynamic entry, which is forward 3. What that means is if you're running, check this out, if you're running, you press forward 3 plus 4, he does dynamic entry. He doesn't do running 3. As a result, right, you get what's known as running dynamic entry. So, forward 3 plus 4 after being a full sprint. What that means is that instead of being in full sprint and doing forward 3 plus 4, you actually can do, and this is the really cool thing, forward forward for dash, right? Forward forward for dash, and then the third forward, instead of being 3 for running 3, the third forward will be forward 3 plus 4, like that. So you get while running Den, while running dynamic entry, right? And you can use that for a multitude of things. You can do while running Den 2, you can do while running 4, 3, and so on. So in the combo, it lets you do that. I just had to do a quick aside. It's also why, and I'm sure people have seen me do this in previous streams, it's also why, let me quickly just demonstrate for the sake of argument. It's also why you can do this fun little activity. Apologies for all the frame drops. I'll try and get my setup sorted. It's been my first stream of the year, so unfortunately some growing pains. So it's also why if you do the Rage Drive combo, that's possible. You see what I did there? I did while running. Why did I do back 3 ender? Wow, let me imagine me forgetting my own combo. Anyway, that's why that works. Right, like that. There you go. What the? Why am I doing down forward 1? But you get the idea. Let me do it one more time. I will get this combo. I don't know why I'm dropping it. I love how when I have to demonstrate I can't do it, but any other time I can do it just fine. There we go. So, in that scenario, the way I was able to catch it, because I was so far away, I did while running Den 2, right? Anyway, that explanation aside, for the previous combo, the max damage, you do while running Den 1, not 2, Den 1, and you do back 3, forward 1 for the ender. So, putting all that together, putting all of Lars' season buffs, 3 and 3 buffs together, you get a very devastating combo. So let me not do the wall carry, let me actually do the combo on its own. And I already forgot what it was. Good stuff. Okay, so Den 2, jab. But the dash down 4-2-1 is, of course, the tricky part. That's the part you see me messing up. Let's try that again. Ouch! Look at that. 76 damage. 76 damage without rage. Incredible stuff. Like, look at that. That's some good stuff right there. 76 damage without rage. We'll never be able to do that combo on Xbox Online. Yeah. Listen, we'll never be able to do that combo on PC Online. Never, like, forget Xbox. Like, the chance of you hitting that combo on Tekken 7 Netplay, period, you'd be a god. A Tekken god, maybe. No, but like, it's hard. It's a hard combo to do because, look, the fact is, if you're off axis, it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work properly. That's the thing. So it's actually, if you're off axis even a little bit, a part of it's actually going to whiff. So the problem with the combo is that you have to hit them clean. You have to hit them clean straight on, and the chance of you doing that is very hard. So what I want to do is I want to try and hit the... if you were on my Twitter, you probably saw this actually. But let me see if I can hit the full thing. That micro dash is tricky. The problem with using 2-jab is you don't get enough time to do your follow-up. That's what makes it difficult, unfortunately, but we persevere. Man. So it's... the problem with doing this combo as well is that the fact of the matter is that you're better off just going for a solid combo that you know you can hit, as opposed to a combo that is very finicky and you're probably going to drop, especially if you're playing online. It's better to go for flat damage and get the Okey, as this, you know, this video is all about, as opposed to trying to go for a much harder combo. I mean, look at it this way. If you know this combo and you can execute it consistently, then honestly, you're fine. But unfortunately, it's like, it's the kind of thing where Tekken 7 is not really a game about optimal damage on its own. Tekken 7 is more a game about having solid damage and mix-ups. Man, I will hit this, I promise you. It's because mind you, it's because I'm doing 2-jab, which is harder to get the dash after. If I do 1-jab, it's much easier. Man. Because the thing is, what ends up happening is if you hit the full thing, both the wall carry and the damage are really good. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do dash after the jab, and I still struggle with that, unfortunately. It's not nearly as easy. Man, it's tough. So, StatBlazer in the chat, I take it that you play on Xbox then? I actually play on Xbox myself. I got it on Game Pass and I've been playing online a little bit. I mean, it's not bad. And I dropped the ender. Oh, it's not bad. I mean, I'll be honest, Xbox Tekken 7, it's interesting. The graphics are worse, objectively worse. And a lot of the basic... Wait a minute. No, I'm too far. The problem is I'm actually a little bit too far. But yeah, the graphics are much worse. It's objectively the worst looking version. Even with a 1X. Unfortunately, they didn't patch it for Xbox One X, so the game still looks awful. It's in 720p on 1X. It looks so... Oh, sorry, on original Xbox One. And Xbox One X didn't get a 4K patch or anything. It looks awful. The graphics are the worst version. That said... then the frame delay is actually better on Xbox than PS4. So your inputs will be better. The graphics suck and netplay sucks, but your inputs are better. So that's the only benefit of the Xbox version. But the load times are awful. The load times are absolutely awful on base Xbox One. On Xbox One X, it's a little bit better, but the load times are awful on Xbox One. So unfortunately, Xbox One is objectively the worst version, save for the frames. That is. Now, what I want to do is I want to try and hit this. I've realized I'm actually way too far from the wall. But you can basically see from the wall carry that this combo is ostensibly... No, I'm too close. This combo is basically just wall to wall. Now, wall to wall with Lars is typically with rage, right? You've probably seen the combos I've done a billion times. Wall to wall with Lars is typically with rage, but in this case, you don't need rage. If you can hit this, then you're freaking godlike. Imagine if you get consistent with this and you hit enemies clean on. You can honestly be amazing. But the problem is, as I'm sure you've seen, is that if you're too close to the wall, you're actually not hitting them properly anyway. So, unfortunately, it's not the kind of thing that is useful all the time, especially if your spacing is off. And also, there's a chance, by the way, there's actually a chance that the Sen 3 at the end won't even hit. Like, some characters, like shorter legs, Sen 3 might not even hit them. And I messed up. Oh! It's because the problem is the down 4-2-1 has a bit of recovery on it too, so getting the while running down 1 actually takes a little bit of effort too. And I keep messing up the dash down 4-2 and I'm getting forward 4-2 instead. But you get the idea. Anyway, so let me, I'm going to keep trying to get this combo. As I said, I know it's a little bit boring probably for the stream, but I feel like it's worth doing because if I can get it, you're going to see just how much damage it does. I mean, you can just go see my Twitter video if you want to see the combo in full. I have done it before, but I'm only doing it with 2 jabs just because I want you to see what it looks like. Because I would do 1 jab instead. 1 jab is so much easier. 1 jab is so much easier, but 2 jab is where you get the extra 1 damage for those who care about that. And I care about that. Man, it's just that to do 2 jab dash down 4-2-1 is so difficult. What the? Oh, he's partying now. He's partying now, man. Let me see. I'm not even getting a dash anymore. The problem I have is that I'm trying to do the dash perfect. Like, there really is no trick to it. You have to get the perfect timing. Because if you don't, then you just drop it. You see what I mean? Like, I can't sort of confirm the 2, then dash, then do it. You really have to just get the timing perfect. Because if you don't get it perfect, it just drops and you get nothing. So, unfortunate. Let's try this a couple more times. And I drop the Den 2. I don't even get the Den 2. Boy, I wish there was a way to just start at the wall. I wouldn't have to keep backdashing like this. Whew! There you go. Now, there you go. Finally, 100 damage. That's it. That was it. Sorry about that. Sorry that took a million years, but that was it. That's the Lars max damage. Wall to wall, no rage, 100 damage. Incredible stuff. Now, as I mentioned, if your opponent is off axis even a little bit, if your opponent has short legs, if your opponent, I don't know, it feels a certain way, then it's not going to work. Also, the problem with using the 1 jab version is you don't get the ender after you don't get the Sen 3 ender. So for example, off a forward back 2-1 you need to do the 2 starter. But let me do forward back 2-1, let me do the jab starter instead. And let me just end the combo. So let me do forward back 2-1 starter. You see what I mean? Because I did the 1 jab, you don't get back 3. That's the problem. So the reason why I have to do the 2 is it covers forward back 2-1 as well. Also, did you see how I did 1 jab and I did it easier? You see how first time I did 1 jab and like I said, 1 jab is much faster, but with forward back 2-1 it's going to drop. That's the problem. With up forward 4 it works just fine. That's the thing. But with forward back 2-1 it doesn't work, and that's the only reason you want to learn the 2-1s. Let me do it with up forward 4. Right? Perfect. So with up forward 4, it works better. Right? So look, y'all thought I was making it up. 1 jab is so much easier to combo. 2 is like the slightly better damage, but 1 is easier, but forward back 2-1 doesn't work. Similarly, I think counter hit Den 2 doesn't work either, as far as I'm aware. Let me turn on counter hit. Counter hit Den 2 doesn't work either, actually. So let me turn it on. If I don't drop it, oh, I'm dropping the while running Den 1 now. Let me try that again. No, I will do this, I promise. I'm just trying to show that it drops if you do 1 jab instead. Man, I'm messing up my inputs. Because the problem is you literally have to do the whole thing in 1 motion. If you don't, it's going to drop. What the? How did that not work? You're embarrassing me, combo. I'm trying to look good for the stream. You see what I mean? If you do one jab, unfortunately, then 2 counter hit, forward back 2-1 doesn't work. So that's another thing. You have to do the hard version if you want the maximum damage. That said, if you only ever do up forward 4, it works just fine. Twitch curse, yeah, basically, like literally. But if you do up forward 4, it works just fine. I'm sure you're wondering what the damage is with counter hit and rage. Let's find out. Prepare to wait for another 10 minutes. Yep. And so it begins. The chance of me hitting this is very low, but let's give it a try. Man, I hate that 2-jab so much. I hate that 2-jab so much. Because it's just the timing is just so much harder. Man. Also, did I do up forward 4 by accident? I don't think I did then too. I'm fairly certain I did up forward 4. Man, it's that 2-jab, man. But that's the only way for this combo to work. You have to do 2-jab. It doesn't work otherwise. And I didn't dash. And I didn't dash. I didn't think I needed to dash. But I should have known better. Man. That 2-jab is killing me. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Because the 2-jab is the only way for this combo to work, so if you don't do it, you don't get it. No guts, no glory. Bro. I promise I'll hit it. I promise. I'll hit it sometime this century. Because like I said, there's no trick to it. You really have to just time it properly. If you don't time it properly, you will just mess it up. And if you don't do the down 4-2-1 correctly, you will get that instead, and that sucks. So you don't want that. Oh man, I really am dropping frames, huh? I did it. 110 damage. That's 10 extra damage, obviously, thanks to the counter hit and rage, but that's a lot. Obviously, if you're in rage, you don't even need that combo. You can just do a rage drive combo. But the point is, if you can, okay, let me remove the walls real quick. This is gonna be I promise, this is gonna be much faster. I promise. I promise. Hold on. I promise this is gonna be a heck of a lot faster. But anyway, thanks to everyone who tuned in, and also thanks to my YouTube viewers who watched this. Apologies for all the frame drops. Unfortunately, my setup here isn't nearly as stable as I would like it to be. And if I can sort it out, that would be perfect. I don't know why it's so unstable, but you know. But let me show you the damage this does just without the wall. And without the wall, I don't have to backdash so much. I can just keep trying the combo. 84 damage with counter hit and rage. Now let's remove rage, right? 84 damage. That's incredible, right? Let's remove rage and just do the same thing. Curses. Messed that up already. Oh, I will do it. Man. $78 damage. Now, for my final trick, I think I know where you know where this is going. For my final trick, check this out. If my big brain calculations are right, this should... Hold on, let me actually... No, let me hold up. Let me do some quick maths. Characters in Tekken 7 have 170 damage. Sorry, 170 health. So if you do... 170 health. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's 170 health. So this should be ostensibly... nearly death. If you do this, should be nearly death. So check this out. Let me do this. If I drop the combo first, Was that counter hit? Okay, so let's just assume for the sake of argument you hit them with counter hit orbital. I don't know in what scenario this happens, but whatever. I will... Okay, you know where this is going. I forgot the combo already, what the heck? Man. The things I do for entertainment. I promise I will hit this. Nope. Unfortunately, I did not get my cancel. What the F? Man, it's that second freaking... It's that jab, dude. What the... Unbelievable, the end... Why did the ending drop? Oh man, and that's why I hate that combo. Sometimes even if you execute it right, it just screws you. Why did that drop? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Man, I'm upset. Why did that drop? Unbefreaking-lievable. Whew! There you go. So that was 72 plus 78 damage. That's 150 damage overall. That is almost dead, basically. Assuming for a moment your opponent's been hit by, I don't know, like a 2-1 or something, right? A 2-1, and then you read a low, you got an orbital, right? You do like a combo like that, like this, which works on big characters, right? This combo doesn't work on big characters, unfortunately. On smaller characters. And they do a low get-up kick, so you hit them with the Den 2, and let's just say you are freaking godlike, and you actually hit the max damage immediately. 78 damage. 78 damage for a counter hit Den 2, if you hit the full thing, and assuming you don't drop it or the game doesn't screw you or something. Then yeah, then you're pretty good, you know what I'm saying? So that is Okey. That'd be a nasty comeback. Hell yeah it would be. Hell freaking yeah it would be. One thing I want to check real quick is I want to see if... Oh, are you serious? Oh no, actually this is counter hit. No, it's because it's counter hit. It's because it was counter hit, so that doesn't count. Hold up. Because I'm doing send 1 ender, not send 3 ender. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, that's... Okay, so what I'm trying to do right there is after the knock... Because basically, if you do send 1 ender, it knocks them too far away to get a combo. But you're actually plus 17. So technically, you could, in theory, get a Den 2. So it depends on the distance of the pushback, though. So I think after like a basic combo like this, probably not. No, see, that doesn't work. Because obviously I'm doing while running. But let's just see. If you do it after like a full combo, let's see if this is possible. I'm trying to see if I can score a counter hit from that far. No, because if you can, this is gonna be very important. Man, I'm actually not getting it. I'm trying to time it perfectly. So what I'm doing is I'm not actually hitting them. I'm actually just whiff punishing them with a while running Den 2. Let me try it on mid get up kick. Oops, I didn't dash. Ooh, look at that. So that's really good. So, okay, you're not getting the counter hit because you're not hitting them on startup. But with while running Den 2, you can actually go across, because normally that wouldn't work. Let me show you just what happens to show you that normally. Normally that wouldn't work. Let me just show you regular so you can understand I'm not just making this up. Normal Den 2 wouldn't reach, right? After knockdown, normal Den 2 doesn't reach, right? But while running Den 2 does. That's really good. So maybe if they delayed their wake up and did a get up kick, you might actually counter hit them. So as I just demonstrated, it's possible with while running Den 2 to hit people after Sen 1 ender on an infinite stage or a big stage. That's very useful. I'm just trying to think, in what scenario would that work? Probably works for spring kick. Could you okay, next theory. Can you float someone if they do spring kick with a while running Den 2? Let's find out. Oh no, but it's... I'm gonna have to change it away. I just realized. Oh, let me simple select. I just realized because it's king, this isn't gonna work. Let me change it to Jin. Because I want to see if you can float someone by doing a while running Den 2. My theory is yes, you can. But the question is it truly possible? Because that's something that's going to be useful as well. Because what this means is it basically turns your... Oh no, but Jin's legs are too short. Oh boy. So that... Okay, you know what? Screw it. No, it's fine. It's fine. This combo works. It's fine. I don't need to do the full combo. I can just do a normal combo. It's fine. I can just do a normal combo. Whoa! That's sick. Hold up. That's awesome. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I probably can't do down forward 1. I probably have to do down forward 2 on just because of the distance. Hold up. That is awesome. Look at that. That is so good. I didn't even think about that. That's actually really good because I used to think that if you do Sen 1 ender, you're giving up your turn, basically. But, wow. I mean, the chance of someone doing that is unlikely. The chance of someone doing like a... Well, actually, no, some people do spring kicks, especially if they see you coming, but that's really good. Like, that's actually really good. Oops. You can literally... with the right execution, turn Sen 1 ender into Okey. If you don't get hit. That is amazing. Look at that. You can catch spring kick from a half screen. That is so cool. Like, actually amazing. Yeah, I didn't expect that to work either, Stat Blazer. That is so useful. I just wish you could counter hit them, but you're just too far to make it work. Oops, not punished for trading. You don't mean to click that. Let's see. I'm just wondering, what if they do front roll? Because the only stipulation here being, if they do a normal getup, it might not work the way you want it to. Okay, if they forward roll, they go into it, makes sense. If they wake up backwards, will you whiff? Because this is the only problem with it. Let's see. If they wake up... Yeah, so the problem is if they wake up backwards, you get nothing. And you just whiff in their face. Oops. So if they just wake up normal, you'll basically whiff in their face. So probably not. Yeah, so it works for spring kick and it probably works for low kick and mid kick, but it doesn't counter hit it. If it counter hit it, that would be so good. Man, look at that. The fact that it whiff punishes it is so good. Wait, hold on. I'm doing Den 2. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I'm scheming. I'm scheming, yo. Hold up. Oh my god! Did you see that? Did you see... Somebody clip that. Oh my god. That is the tech. That's the tech. Holy crap. That's the tech. That is so good. That is so good. What a call out. Oh my goodness. But if they do low get up kicks, it's not gonna hit, but that is the tech right there. Holy crap. That is so good. It won't work for low get up kick though. Yeah, exactly. It won't work for low get up kick, but that is the tech right there. And it won't work for spring kick too, but assuming it was mid get up kick, that is the tech. That is amazing. Literally, if you do while running dynamic entry, you can hit them if they do mid get up kick. That is so good. Look at that. Off of a normal damage ender. Incredible. That is so useful. Okay, for anyone who stayed and wants to stream this long, you learned something new. I learned something new, but that is so sick, man. This is why training mode is good. Look, training mode, guys. Underestimated. Training mode is so useful. Like, come on. Look at what training mode can teach you. You can spend all day grinding out your rank and getting your Yoxes and your Emperors, but you can go in training mode. You can be a real champ. Excuse me. Like, that is so useful. Like, actually amazing stuff. Like, I never expected that to work, but that's fantastic. The fact that you can... Like, I used to think that if you end with Silent Entry 1, combo's over, like, who cares? It's done, right? Like, you're done. But the fact that while running Den 2, which I was just explaining casually, that's the missing link of his Okey. Y'all came for Okey, I gave you some Okey. Man, that is fantastic. It's just... Oh yeah, I forgot. For forward back to 1, it works on short legs. Hold up. That is so good. That is so good. Man, that is fantastic. And that is like the way you just snipe him is so sick. I mean, for the sake of demonstration, let me show you that this isn't like magic. I really am just doing the input really fast. Because look, normal won't work. Normal Den 1+2 won't work. You have to do while running Den 1+2. Right? Look at that. That is so... Dude, just looking at it, that is so sick. Just looking at that is awesome. Like, actually amazing stuff. It only works on mid get-up kick, not low. Because if it worked on low, boy, that would be amazing. I suppose you could do forward, 4-3. I don't know why you'd want to, but let's give it a try. Oh, you can do it. Hold up. Let's do it. Wow, and it's max range too. That's pretty cool. I mean, I kind of like that. Probably works for low as well. Let's try that. That's amazing. That is so cool. And it's a whiff punish. It's like actually a whiff punish. That is so sick. Obviously doesn't work for spring kick. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't think about toe tap. Wait. Toe tap. What happens with toe tap? Let's find out. Oh, it just whiff punishes them. I was so... Because toe tap, it has longer recovery. I was seriously hoping it would counter hit them. Because if it counter hit them, that would be so good. Dash, please. Thank you. I really hate when you come back from thing and doesn't let you do forward back to 1. Oops, wrong combo. Brain farted. Man, and the fact that it whiff punishes is sick. Keep in mind, by the way, Den 2 is +7. So, off of that situation, you can get a back 4. Right? You can get a back 4 off of that. So for the sake of argument, let's say they do the mid kick. Let's say the more likely one from that distance. Don't do that. You can get a back 4 off of this sequence. Back 4, yeah, and if they press, basically, After Den 2, you're +7, so a back 4 is going to counter hit them for sure. That is so good. That is so sick. And if you called out the mid kick, you get a screw. That is so cool. Honestly, like I'm in awe of this character right now. Like the fact that this is a real option. Man, that is so good. Look at that. Look at that. Man. This whole time, you thought, I mean, it's a shame that it doesn't counter hit, because if it counter hit, it would be OP. But the fact that it doesn't counter hit is the real shame. But the fact that it works for spring kick is pretty good. The only problem is if your opponent doesn't do a get up from that far, you're kind of wasting it. That's the only shame. So it might be the kind of thing that would be like a big read in a match, but not really the kind of thing you want to telegraph. You see what I mean? But it beats spring kick, it whiff punishes mid get up kick, it whiff punishes low get up kick, but it will be beaten by like a normal get up. That said, let me see what it does for side roll. Oops. See what it does for side roll. If I don't mess up my combo, that is, hold on. Okay, side roll beats it as well. So side roll beats it, and so does, I'm sure... Wait, what about quick recovery? Oh, let me remove that. Wait, isn't quick recovery that one? Yeah, okay. What does it do for quick recovery? Let's see. Nah, so for quick recovery it doesn't work either. So they have to do a recovery attack. It can't be just quick recovery. Because it's basically they extend their hurt box if they do any of the recovery attacks, but if they just get a normal get up, they don't get hit by it. But if they do any of those, that's really cool. So what I'm going to do now is, for the sake of argument, I'm going to put the CPU on and see if I can hit them with the combo. See if I can hit them with the setup. Obviously CPU ain't too smart, so this won't really emulate a real match, but I'm trying to test if I can see if I can do this. Let me do a bunch of combos and see what I get. So this is for yeah, so if they don't do a recovery attack, you basically get nothing. And if they roll, you get nothing as well, which is another shame. So I'm trying to test out all the scenarios in which the setup doesn't work. Okay, so like in that situation, my opponent didn't do anything, so I actually didn't... Oops. I actually didn't get anything at all. What I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to frame trap him. There we go. Yeah, so unless... But I think, that said, that might be really good if your opponent... Even maybe they don't do a recovery attack. What if your opponent gets up and they press a button? That's even better, because if they do a recovery attack, you'll just whiff punish them. That's not really what you want. But if your opponent presses a button, they'll get hit by it. So let me see if the CPU, not the PC, the CPU, will press a button after I knock them down. Because if they do that, that's really going to be the proof in the pudding for this. Because the trick is to see if they press a button. If they press a button on Wake Up, this is going to make this really powerful. And it's going to really be the proof of concept for what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, CPU gets frame trap very easily. It's not really anything to be surprised by. Just get hop kicked by them. That's not a real frame trap. He was just minus. He tried to press a button because of the CPU, and the CPU is stupid. Still, that's still really good Okey though. Turning one of your most devastating moves into basically a long-range counter-hit snipe, I think is really powerful. Ooh, there you go. So look at that. I was normally too far for Okey, but look at that. The fact that I sniped him from that far after my normal knockdown, my damage knockdown, that is incredible. Because I'm effectively just a hitbox coming at like 100 miles per hour. I'm turning one of my most powerful moves into a long range normal. Ow. Except when I get hit. But so look, I think we've kind of proved the possibility of that. I love how because of CPU Gen, I could have launched that. I love how because of CPU Gen, they keep, what's his name? They keep freaking trying to parry my moves. Look at that. Yep, if they try to press a button, they'll just get hit. That is so good. Man, that is so good. That is so good. So after send one ender, you can literally turn that into a thing. And I think what I want to try and get now is I want to try and hit them with 1+2 instead and see if I can. Yeah, if they duck, if they do anything like that. That's not a punish, it's just a frame trap because they pressed the button, that's all. That one doesn't seem as useful because the chance of them... The chance of them ducking on wake up or otherwise doing a move that leaves them in a position... I don't know, so the chance of them getting hit by that is very slim, unfortunately. But it's still an option, right? It's still a thing that you can do. So I want to see in what scenarios it works. Yeah, so with the Den 1+2 while running, the chance of you hitting them is much slimmer. So obviously you can theory fight all day, but if something doesn't work in practicality, then you are just kind of like shooting in the dark. So I think doing this with the CPU is random obviously, but it does still kind of prove the point that like you need to be aware that setups and tech are nice, but if they don't work in a practical match, there's no point. But I think the Den 2 is a really good option. I still think like it still blows my mind to see that happen, right? To see them get hit by it after the spring kick. So for spring kick, it's really good, right? For spring kick, you get a float from that far, which is amazing. Oh, I messed that up. Or did I just not time it right? Wait, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I think it's because of the distance of the This is the distance of the combo. Yeah, that's why. It's because I'm doing that combo. Whereas if I do this combo, it should work. Wait, what? Am I an idiot? What am I doing wrong? What am I... Is it... Oh, I think I know why. Yeah, I know why that's happening. Hold on. Okay, yeah, right, because they're doing quick recovery spring kick. They're not doing delayed spring kick, that's why. So, okay, so we've just learned that quick recovery spring kick might ruin this setup. Whoa, what a trade. Oh, wow, it's trading now, wow. I think I'm just doing it too slow, hold on. What? I'm not getting it at all. I think I am actually just delaying it too long. There we go. Oh, but I didn't get the combo. So I think depending on the speed of their spring kick will determine if you can hit them. There we go. But that works. That does work though. So that's really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Wait, what about the Den 1+2? I actually didn't check if Den 1+2 works on that. Nope, it trades. It trades. But off the mid kick, that's my joint. Whoop! Except when you time it wrong and get hit. Then you look real stupid. What the? I suck stream. Confirm footage of me sucking. Okay. Let me take a breather. I got this. Huh. I'm actually, no, I think I'm doing it too fast. Wow. How am I messing this up? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Am I doing it too fast, too slow, or what? Huh, okay. How, what am I... You saw that this is working like perfectly the first time. What am I doing wrong this time? Okay, I see. It's because I have to use it as a whiff punish. It's because I'm doing it too fast. I'm actually getting hit by the mid kick. Okay, so StatBlazer in the chat says, I'll probably use this most of the time. You YOLO stance transition and catch them with Send 3. Try and sidestep. That's actually not bad. So I didn't really cover that because that's Okey in a different way, but I think it's worth mentioning briefly. Okey off of Sidestep 2 is one of those things. Actually, let's cover it. I think that's more relevant than all this kind of like crazy theory fighting stuff. So Okey off of Send 3 of Sidestep 2 is a little bit different. So check this out. Sidestep 2, which is just up or down, and then 2, you get down 3-4 guaranteed. That was guaranteed, which is 40 damage. And that leaves you, if you hold down 3 plus 4, it leaves you in a stance, which is actually silent entry, and you can actually get a whiff punish. So check this out. If you read their button, you can actually whiff punish them on reaction. Like that. You see what I mean? So literally, do that. If they try to do a get up kick, you can just whiff punish them, right? Like that, and get a combo. So that's not a combo. That was kind of cool though, but it wasn't a combo. Right? So you can actually whiff punish them, like so. Similarly, it works for low get up kick as well. So Sidestep 2, down 3 plus 4. But this one you have to be a little bit careful with because low get up kick can actually hit you if you're too zealous with it. So that is effectively how to use Sidestep 2 for Okey. So Sidestep 2, down 3 plus 4. Wait for them to press a button and just whiff punish them with Send 3. Send 3 is of course the launcher. If you're not feeling confident with that, you can just do Send 1. This is also very good for the wall. So if there's a wall, you do Send 1 for the wall bounce, right? So that's actually a very good setup in that sense. So it's pretty rudimentary. It's basically if you see them press anything, just, you know, let it rip and get your combo, right? That said, if you feel like they're very zealous and they do mid get up kick and you're not ready to whiff punish it with timing, you can actually whiff punish it with Send 4, right? Because either you time it perfectly and you actually just whiff punish them completely, right? Or you just let it rip. You absorb the hit and you whiff punish it. Of course, the problem with letting it rip is if they do a low, you get beaten. You see what I mean? That said, if you time it perfectly, and I mean perfectly, as you saw it didn't work there, if you time it perfectly, you can actually launch their low, because Send 3 is technically a hop kick, so you can actually launch their low completely. So Sidestep 2, then Send 3 will beat that. Do you see what I mean? It might be a bit harder if they do mid get up kick though. If you time it perfectly, you'll still hit them though. Right? Because Send 3 is 14 frames? Oops. I think it's at 14 frame startup? Yeah, 14 frame startup. And you're plus, well, 7, which isn't much, but you get the idea. So off of Sidestep 3, sorry, Sidestep 2, I keep doing Sidestep 3. Sidestep 2, would you do the stomp, please? Wait for them to press a button, either do Send 1 for the knockdown or wall bounce, or do Send 3 to launch him. Which will cover most get-ups, of course, for not spring kick. It definitely works for recovery quick. Let me quickly show you recovery kick. It definitely works for that one. Right? Because keep in mind, Sidestep 2 leaves them face down. So if they try to do a different recovery kick, they'll do the much longer one, they'll just get hit. But for spring kick, well, it's the same thing. You can't do spring kick from face down, so you'll actually just get hit by that. You see what I mean? So you're effectively just ruining their day, right? Good stuff, good stuff. So that's Sidestep too. So I'll be honest with you, Stat Blazer. I definitely think using Send 3 is actually really good, because the thing is, Send 3 is very hard to step. Like if you do, I don't know, like for example that down, what's his name, while standing 2 down, and your opponent tries to step away, that typically gets him. Like Send 3 has a lot of range. Like it covers a lot of distance, and it tends to hit people who try to escape. So that's another one of those really good things. So if you do, let me try and give you an example. With the CPU, of course, take it with a grain of salt, but let me do side. Oh god. I was actually punished. So he ducked. In that situation didn't work, press the button. But you see what I mean, it covers a lot of range. And if your opponent tries to walk... Wait, why does he keep ducking? You see, you get the idea. But, anyway, I think that is probably a good place to end it. I am still a fan of what we found here. I think what we found here is very, very cool. Genuinely. I think it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool bit of tech we found. So you can turn Send 1 Ender. You can, if you're actually really good, you can turn Send 1 Ender into an Okey option, and it looks really, really freaking cool. Look at that, hitting him from that far. That is so cool. The chance of your opponent doing spring kick from that far is pretty slim, I'll be honest with you. Or mid get up kick for that matter. The chance of your opponent doing that of all options, pretty slim. But if they do, boy, you're partying. Look at that. That's some cool stuff. So, I hope you learned something. I hope you found this stream useful. I hope you enjoyed it. And apologies for all the frame drops. New setup here. Unfortunately, not nearly as stable as my old one. But I very much like being in my own place. It's definitely really nice. So, thanks for watching the stream. Thanks for the new follows. Thanks for all my viewers. And next Lars Lab live stream will hopefully be a lot more sooner. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.